Hi, thanks. So, it's after college, and I wanted to do the backpack thing, go to Europe, and called my friend Joe, and Joe said, great idea. We planned our event. Next thing I know, Joe bails out, but I figure, hey, this is your once in a lifetime, so off I go. So, it's just me and Let's Go Europe and Europe. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a friend in Scotland, and I figure I'll start with her, because that's at least a face that I know. So I go off, I fly across, really exciting, land in England, and it's great. They all have accents, it's just you freak out when you see that, right? So I'm just walking the streets, listening to random conversations, because I'm just enjoying it. But then I realized, I got to get to Edinburgh. And I didn't realize how far Edinburgh was from London, but it's really far. So enough of all the conversations. After a while, I figure out I got to get there. And that's a story in itself, but that's not the detour. I make it to Edinburgh, and I realize I didn't bring her address. So, I'm a 22-year-old kid, and I didn't want to call my folks and say, hey, by the way, day one, I don't know where the hell I'm going, and I'm lost in Scotland. So I know this guy is Johnny Witherspoon. And I look up all the Witherspoons, and I call him at 6 o'clock in the morning until I get the right guy, and I'm off to Johnny's house. So Beth and this fella, they are breaking up. So that's a really nice time to visit, So I pop in, and she's not happy, he's not happy, and so it's time for a detour. Instead of hanging out in Scotland, we decide to go to the Highlands of Scotland, which is Tobermory and all sorts of places I didn't know. And up we go. And it just happens that in Tobermory they're having their Highland Games, which is a spoof of the Highland Games. Now, I didn't know much about this, but it's their festival, and they did things like all the guys in the Highland Games would wear Scottish kilt, and they take those heavy logs and they kind of run with them, and toss them up, and try and get a distance. And I don't know if that resonates with anyone, if you've ever heard of that, but the other thing is they have a ball, like a shot put, that's tethered to a chain, and you take this thing and you swing it around your head, and you let it loose, and you go for distance. So the Highland Games, they mocked it there, right? So they do sort of goofier events. So one of the things is the whaley boot throw, which the whaley boot is a hip waiter. It's one galosh that comes up to your thigh. And the way they played the game there was you hold the thigh part of the whaley boot, and you swing it around your head and you let it go, and as far as the boot goes, they record the distance. So they let me play, and I don't know why, but I was possessed to play. So I said, they tell you the rules. You can take the boot and deform it in any way you want, and then you throw for distance. So all the Scots are up there, and they're swinging it around and letting it go, and this thing recoils on itself, and they get 10 feet at a shot, And me being the Yank, I looked at this thing and I said, I can do anything I want. And they said, yes, anything you want to the boot. And I said, you're sure? Anything I want? And they said, yes. So I took the boot and I rolled it all the way up and I folded it over the top like a sock, which made almost a perfect football. And I threw this thing a mile. So this thing is sailing, and just all the Scots are like, they look at this thing, they don't know what to do, because they don't play football. They can't throw. They could kick it maybe, but they can't throw. So, and you had to throw it with your hands. You couldn't kick this thing. So I just totally wasted the whole event for them. I mean, it was a nice little village. Everybody knew everyone. They were happy, harmony, all that stuff. They now hated the Americans. But all of America, because this Yank screwed up for them. So they're all up there, thank you, they're all up there, spinning this thing and throwing it, but they can't throw it, and each guy's trying, and they're waking people up out of bed, to come and volunteer for this, just so they can get somebody. So finally, like an hour goes on, and that's only one event that they had scheduled for the day, but they couldn't let the Yank win, so they finally get somebody who, I guess, studied in America. And this guy can throw the football, and he gets close enough, and they give it to him, and everything's cool. So they've regained their title. Everyone's happy. So then I enter another event where you're on a greased pole. And on the greased pole, it's two guys, and they have trash cans full of balls, like the dodgeballs. So they put it in plastic trash and you beat the hell out of each other. And you knock one guy off. So when my turn's up there, you know, they like give him extra stones to put in the bag. And this guy's thrashing me and the whole town is loving it, you know, and they knock me in. And there's a huge cry, you know, so everybody's loving that. So, okay, that's fine. Now we cut to the evening. I guess I'm done. We cut to the evening. I go to a barn dance. At the barn dance, all of a sudden, they accept me at the barn dance for some reason. I think it's just that you beat the hell out of a Yank and you beat him, it's okay. So, hey, it was a great detour. It was a life event, and I'm really glad that I went. Thank you very much.